Hello, everybody. This is Demonon, coach of the Detroit Solgaleo, and you thought that our season was over. Well, you were right in that. The LDL Season 3 Evolution League is over. But here in the Lonely Draft League, we have an off-season league combining, I think 8 of the coaches from the Majors and 8 from the Evo or something like that. Basically, it's a mixture of Majors and Evo, and it's just like a fun in-between season before we get to Season 9 of the Majors and Season 4 of the Evo League. But it's 7 weeks, and I knew I wanted to have a little bit of fun with this draft. So I'm just gonna read off to you because I don't want to make a whole separate team builder episode or draft recap episode because I didn't really have a draft plan, and you're gonna find out why when I read you off my team. So it's not necessarily tiered lists. It's like, specific amount of points. You get 120 points, and you can draft between 10 and 12 Pokemon. And so my first overall pick was Mega Pinsir. Let's just go with that, because in this league they're trying out not having to Mega Evolve turn 1, and I'm like, ooh, that'd be cool. I can get some regular Pinsir KOs, get the Moxie boost, whatever it is, But so let's go down the list here of our draft team. So we have, and try to pay attention to the theme here. We have Hoopa Unbound, Mega Pinsir, Glisker, Breloom, Rotom Heat, Swampert, Fortress, Toxicroak, Guzzlord, Alolan Golem, Alolan Sandslash, and Aurorus. So if you can figure out what the common theme was when I decided to build, I kind of made a joke when I was talking in the chat with with the off-season guys. I was like, man, wouldn't it be so cool if you could make an entire team that had 4 times weaknesses actually work? And everyone thought it was funny, and I was like, wait a second, genius idea. I'm gonna draft an entire team that is 4 times weak and see how it does. Now, I'm not expecting to win. I'm not out of my mind here. I didn't even win the Evo League, so why would I expect against the Majors to win in this off-season league? But our goal is to win 1 game with this team. So I have 12 different Pokemon, and I think I have about 16 different 4-time weaknesses. I think I've got all the bases covered. I can't count exactly. And fun fact, I originally drafted regular Hoopa over Hoopa Unbound because regular Hoopa had 2 4 times weaknesses, where Hoopa Unbound only has 1, which is in Bug. So that was that's how hardcore I was going with this team, and dedicated to the meme of 4 times weaknesses. But then I had so many points left over. I had 23 points left over, because you'll learn if you ever try the strategy. There's not a lot of really high-tiered Pokemon that you could build an entire team out of, because other people draft those other Pokemon, like Landers or whatever. So I had 23 points left over, and I was like, okay, fine, I'll go from regular Hoopa to Hoopa Unbound since it was untaken. But so I guess we've been talking too much about our team here, and you guys are excited because you want to see the battle. So our week 1 matchup is against Carlos and the Iowa Cubchoos, and I'll run off his team for you real quick and think of what I was going for. So he has a very scary team: Tapu Koko, Hydreigon, Mega Aerodactyl, Gengar, Arcanine, Bronzong, Serena, Gligar, Hitmonlee, Miltank, Quagsire, and Kecleon. So he has a 4 times Teferi in Hydreigon, and a 4 times the Grass with Quagsire. Some weak sauce. He only has 2 4 times weaknesses. Well, we have an entire team dedicated to it. Anyway, so go for team building for this week. I was actually pretty scared of Arcanine and the Miltank. I brought a bunch of fighting coverage on this team. try to handle the mill tank, and he didn't bring either of those, which I should have prepped better for, because I'm really not too prepared with this team of 6 that I have right now. I'm really not prepared for the Bronzong. I don't have a lot of options for the Gengar. Also, his Gengar and Hydreigon are his Z users. So in team preview, when I see these 6, I'm like, okay, Hydreigon or Gengar, which one is the Z user? I'm gonna have to try to find that out. I know, Gligar is just annoying. I have to get its Eviolite off at some point. Bronzong, I'm pretty screwed. Like, if Rotom goes down, I have no answers for the Bronzong. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, right? Yeah, that would be my only super effective way of hitting it, except for like a knockoff, which I do have on Toxicroak. So we have bulky leftovers, Stealth Rock Swampert, with Toxic actually as my 4th slot. And then I have a Rocky Helmet Glisker who was there to take U-turns and stuff from the Tapu Koko and the Hydreigon, like really trying to stop him from pivoting all over my team, which he was very free and able to do potentially with who he brought. My Toxicroak, my front office, when I was talking with them, they thought I should have went with Sash or Life Orb or something like that. But this is where my VGC experience kicks in, because in VGC 2019, one of Toxicroak's popular moves or items was Assault Vest. Not because it actually makes you bulky, but because it makes you live like one hit, where you actually just get one hit by everything else in the format. Especially anyway, and you're gonna see the Assault Vest actually puts in work. I am Choice Scarf, Hoopa Unbound. I didn't really know what else to do here. I thought maybe if Hydreigon was Z-move and not Scarf, then I would outspeed and I can hit it. I can hit it with a Drain Punch. My Rotom Heat was my defogger for the week, and he was bulky with leftovers and defog, Volt Switch, Overheat, and then Pain Split, which I don't know if I should have put Pain Split on. Then my Mega Pinsir, I was a little bit worried about the Arcanine, so I put Earthquake in the 4th slot. So I have the conventional quick attack return. I forget what his 4 moves are. Earthquake, and then something else. I can't remember. But I don't have Swords Dance, which is an issue for us in this matchup. I really didn't think there would be many opportunities for me to set a Swords Dance up against the team that I was expecting, which was the Arcanine and some other things that would be able to, the Hitmonlee with the Unburden boost and stuff like that. Like, I didn't think I'd have many chances to set up Swords Dance, and I think that was definitely a mistake. I didn't need Earthquake in this matchup because I had other things like Toxicroak and Swampert and Glisker all hit the Koko super effectively. Earthquake doesn't hit Bronzong, doesn't hit Gligar, doesn't hit Aerodactyl, doesn't hit Hydreigon. Like, Earthquake was not the call. But basically going into this, I knew he was going to lead either his Bronzong or his Gligar, starting off with his Rocker. So I decided to go with my Swampert, not only because I can set up my rocks turn 1, but because I also can Scald the Gligar for super effective damage. And then whenever he decides to switch out, I have Toxic in that last slot. So if he tries to go into the Gengar, I can live a Gengar's Shadow Ball or Sludge Wave. I could live the Koko if it comes in. But so we are just going to trade rocks here on this first turn. And then I'm going to stay in and Scald just because I want the damage on him. I want to get him lower. And the Gligar will knock off my leftovers, which stinks because I literally, I didn't get to use leftovers at all in the matchup. Like, turn 2, it's gone. So any health I lose on Swampert this game is going to be permanent. I get a Scald Burn, which is really nice because now Gligar is really useless. He set up rocks, he knocked off my item, and he's going to do no damage already from the low attack and because of the burn. So I know he's going to switch out here. I don't know into what. As long as it's not Bronzong, this Toxic is great, and it lands on the Hydreigon, which is nice. So this chip damage every turn, if he's just going to U-turn around and stuff like that, that's really, really going to be helpful. Now, I thought he was going to U-turn here. So I switch out my Swampert into the Glisker, and he actually drops a Draco in my face. And this still doesn't tell me if he's Scarfed or not. So I needed to figure out if Hydreigon was Scarfed or if he was Z-move, because that's how I was going to play my Hoopa in this match. And we live on 3 HP from the Draco, which is just awesome. So him switching out here should have told me he was scarfed. Like, I should have figured that out, because like even a -2 Draco would knock out my Glisker from where I was at. But as he was going to switch out, I just decided to roost so I could get up to back to above 50% HP as the Mega Aerodactyl comes in. Now, this is a play where I actually made a nice call, and then I got no momentum out of it, which I learned afterwards when I was watching back on the match. I thought he was going to Ice Fang in this slot, so I bring my Rotom in, and I take Stealth Rock, so I take 25% for no reason. He does Mega Evolve, and he does go for the Ice Fang, so I made the right call there, but then after that, I didn't think about what was next, because so the Mega Aerodactyl is still faster, obviously, right? And then here shows off my leftovers, and he can just go for Rock Slide. So I don't know why I didn't switch out here, like why I didn't go into Swampert. Swampert doesn't care about Rock Slide, he doesn't care about Ice Fang, so I lose my Rotom for literally nothing, and that was a really bad play on my end. And I'm not too upset. Like, I wasn't salty about this game or anything like that. I was just like, kind of a boneheaded decision on my end. I was like, I made the right call of the Ice Fang, but then I stayed in for literally no reason. So now I bring in the Swampert, and he shows off the Hydreigon again. Gonna take rocks. Every turn that he takes rocks and Toxic will really help us out in the late game. This Scald does literally nothing to him. My only other attack is Earth Power, which will actually do 0. So I do not have many options here. This is a total misplay. Like, I should put it in bold, misplay. I go into Hoopa because I thought he was going to Draco again, when my plan was Glisker has Rocky Helmet for this exact reason. What am I doing? Hoopa's 4 times weak to Bug, eats this U-turn, and then at that point when he showed off U-turn, I knew he was scarfed. But I was like, what was going through my mind there? I was so worried because I got the call wrong the first time that he Draco'd, that this time I'm like, okay, well, he knows I'm going to bring it in on a U-turn, so I'll just, Hoopa can Draco, and if he's not scarfed, then I outspeed and I knock it out or whatever. But it was just a terrible, terrible play on my end. So it's alright. We're down 6-4 right now. I bring in Toxicroak because I just wanted to knock off something, and he has the Tapu Koko. He just switches it out. Didn't go for a Volt Switch or anything like that, so a hard switch. Didn't go for a U-turn, and I go for the knockoff. So finally, the Poison Jab knockoff is not a combination. It's not enough to knock out. I'm not gonna really blame myself too much for that one, honestly, because I didn't expect the Koko to switch out. I thought he would go for Thunderbolt, so why would I knock off into a resisted Tapu Koko, right? So now I swap out, as I thought he was going to Roost, but he actually goes for knockoff, which is actually better for me, because if he roosted, he goes up to like 90%, where knockoff, he already got rid of my item, so he's not doing anything. And this guy's literally useless. Like, this would have been a really nice situation to have Swords Dance on Pinsir, right? I switch it on knockoff, then I Swords Dance as he switches it out on +2 on something. Like, I would have been getting a little bit more momentum, but the Swampert knocks out the Gligar here, and he brings in the Gengar for free. I think he's going to Z-move here because he knows a regular Shadow Ball is not going to be enough. And now that I know Hydreigon is the Scarfer, that means the Gengar's the only one left who can use the Z-move. So here comes the Never-Ending Nightmare into my Glisker, who did diddly squat in this game, but it's okay because it was my fault. It wasn't his fault. I'll give him a break. And it's better that Glisker took this, where my other 3 Pokemon remaining are definitely more important than Glisker right now. Yeah, I might as well not even giving him an item because I didn't take advantage of it. But I am now down 5-3, and it's looking pretty dark right now. I don't think there's much chance of me winning at this point. I know I can live a Shadow Ball because of my Assault Vest, obviously. So he switches out the Gengar because he doesn't want to take a knockoff. Even with the Z-move, that's still going to do a lot, which is understandable. So knockoff plus the rocks damage plus toxic means Swampert gets his second KO of the match, and this pesky Hydreigon is down. I'm just really bad against playing against Hydreigon, honestly. So here we are. We're losing 4-3 right now. We can pull this back right here. He doesn't know we're scarfed. He might have thought we were sash, and our sash is now broken. Or excuse me, we're not scarfed. We're assault vest. So he didn't know we're AV. We live the Thunderbolt into rain. Poison jab knocks out the Coco, and it's 3-3, baby. This Coco, like a lot of my friends that I was talking with, they're like, he's gonna be a really big problem for you. Coco didn't do anything in this match, so that's all I care about, honestly. I have Sucker Punch on Toxicroak. I really wish this did more damage. Like, that's all an adamant Sucker Punch does to Aerodactyl. Crazy. Rock Slide hits, Toxicroak goes down, because if I did maybe like 10% more damage, then my quick attack from the pincer could potentially knock out, depending on the speed or the HP investment he had on Aerodactyl. Here's the Ice Fang. I don't know why he didn't just go for the Earthquake, which it would have done more damage. It's not like it's going to matter, but Swampert gets its third knockout. Swampert was here literally to set up rocks and toxic things, and he actually has all three knockouts right now. I turned off Swampert for I got a little too quick with that one. Sorry about that. He is not knocked out yet. Aerodactyl is down. So the roll was in my favor to live a Shadow Ball here, and I would have knocked out with Earth Power. But a good play from my opponent shows that he prepped with the Energy Ball. So obviously I had no chance of living that hit. If he didn't have Energy Ball, it was only like a 30% chance or something for Shadow Ball to knock me out, and then I would have knocked it out with the Earth Power. So here's where it's kind of over at this point. I have enough HP to live a Shadow Ball after rocks. The special defense drop doesn't matter, but no Swords Dance. So if I was able to Swords Dance, I'd be +2. Gengar goes down. I'm able to quick attack it and take no damage for it, and then in comes the Bronzong. So let me get rid of the Gengar here, and if I had knockoff at +2 would have been a big deal. +2 close combat would have done a lot more, obviously, than that. Maybe a crit would have turned some things around. Who knows? But it was not meant to be because he has Rock Slide, which was actually really scary of him, or a scary play by my opponent. Because if Rock Slide missed, who knows what happens there? So Pinsir goes down, and we lose this match 1-0. Now, I'm not upset. Like, at all. I thought it was actually a really fun match that me and my opponent and I had this week. And considering how poorly it started with my Glisker losing 99% of its HP to the Draco and losing Hoopa to the U-turn when I had a dedicated Pokemon on the team and Glisker who was there to eat U-turns from Hydreigon and Coco, like, it started off really bad. I lost the Rotom for no reason. It didn't even defog. It didn't Volt Switch. It did nothing. Like, that match did not go our way early. Like, I was not playing to the best of my abilities. But then I composed myself. I was able to, I had some good matchups with the Toxicroak having Assault Vest. That really helped us out. And honestly, I'll take a 1-0 loss. Like I said, we're not trying to win this whole league. We're not trying to, prove we're the best in this off-season draft, because it's obviously these games do matter. You want to win just for your pride, but it's not like there's a big prize or anything like that for the off-season. I just want to see if we can win one game. That's all. With this 4 times weak team, an entire team having at least one 4 times weakness. Some Pokemon have 2. Alolan Sandslash has 2. Aurorus has 2. And the first version of Hoopa that I had on the team had 2 4 times weaknesses. But yeah, we lose 1-0. Congratulations to the Cubchoos. And I'm happy that Swampert, his spiritual successor to Mega Swampert for our Evo League that we had, where he had like 15 or 16 KOs. Now this Swampert has 3 in the first week. I'm really excited. This draft was a lot of fun to do. And I think a lot of people really didn't even notice. Like, my opponent said after the game when we were talking, he didn't even notice that my team was all 4 times weak. when he was prepping for it. So maybe, I guess I've kind of blown the secret there for the rest of the league, but I'm okay with that because it's a lot of fun and we'll see what happens. Let me know if there are any Pokemon that you like to use that have a 4x weakness, and maybe I'll draft them in the future episodes. But for now, this is Zemanon and the Detroit Solgaleo signing off, and we'll see you next week for the LDL offseason.